Since its debut in 2010, Swamp People has followed Louisiana's hardy gator hunters through sun-baked bayous, over moss-hung cypress, and amid murky waters teeming with danger. The History Channel series made household names of characters like Troy Landry, his son Jacob, Bobby Herring, Justin Martin, and dozens of others who risk life and limb to maintain a centuries-old tradition. Along with the suspense of tracking elusive alligators and the thrill of grappling massive specimens, viewers have come to care deeply about the personalities on screen. As a result, rumors about cast members' fates, whispers that someone died on camera, or that a favorite hunter vanished behind bars, carry extra weight. But when you dig beneath social media chatter and tabloid headlines, a surprisingly clean record emerges. No main or recurring cast member has been credibly reported as deceased or imprisoned. In the early seasons, several fans speculated that untoward accidents might have claimed a cast member's life, drawing on footage where a hunter vanished from frame or communications went silent. The show's raw, cinéma style, handheld cameras, shaky helicams, impromptu outings occasionally created confusion. A tight shot on a teammate hauling in a gator, followed by a cut to the next scene, sometimes left an eerie impression that something dire had occurred off camera. Yet in every case, those hunters reemerged in later episodes, healthy and alert, resuming their periodic battles with crocodilians. Aside from the inherent risks of boating, sharp hooks, and unpredictable wildlife, none of the franchise's core ensemble has suffered an on-screen fatality. Similarly, swirling rumors about cast members going to jail rose and fell with the ebb and flow of social platforms. Fans noticed local news items about individuals in rural Louisiana booked for minor infractions, traffic violations, small-scale disputes, or permit oversights, and hastily presumed they were the same people seen wrestling behemoth alligators on television. In one instance, a man named Roy Futch was briefly detained in 2013 on a misdemeanor related to swamp equipment regulations. Online commentators jumped on the arrest report, mistakenly identifying Futch as a series regular, when showrunners clarified that the detained individual was a local guide with no recurring role. The story quietly faded. Another oft-cited case involved a background wrangler who faced a DUI charge in 2015. The individual in question had appeared in a handful of segments as a facilitator, not as a star, and the charge was resolved without jail time. None of the marquee names, Landrys, Herrings, Martins, or other household faces, have served prison sentences. Part of the confusion stems from the porous line between cast and crew. Swamp People relies heavily on community involvement. Local boat operators, swamp guides, even family members step in to assist the primary hunters. These one-off participants sometimes land in minor legal tangles purely because of the rugged environment, blurry property boundaries, misunderstood permit requirements, or makeshift landing zones. Internet sleuths comb through arrest logs, latch onto matching surnames, and broadcast sensationalized conclusions. But a careful cross-reference of episode credits against public court filings reveals no overlap between show executives' cast listings and any significant criminal records. Moreover, the program's production team maintains strict vetting procedures. Before featuring someone as a guest hunter or recurring character, the network's legal department conducts background checks to ensure compliance with broadcast standards and to minimize liability. Even if a minor participant later encounters legal trouble, History Channel representatives typically remove them from future episodes rather than risk associating the brand with controversy. That safeguard further insulates the famed gator wranglers from jail-related scandals that might plague reality stars in other genres. Behind the scenes, the show's cinematographers and editors sometimes craft narrative tension by implying off-camera drama. A voice-over remark like "later that night, he faced an unexpected showdown" can suggest a dire turn, when in reality it refers to a late-night gator encounter under floodlights. Misinterpretation of these dramatic prompts fuels speculation. Yet interviews with series producers confirm that fatal accidents have been avoided through rigorous safety protocols, and serious legal issues have been addressed internally without public spectacle. Despite the absence of confirmed deaths or imprisonments, Swamp People's cast has faced genuine hardships and legal tangles over the years, none of them culminating in the ultimate rumors that still surface. Minor contract disputes, insurance claims after boating incidents, and environmental citations for gear violations have all been swiftly settled. The show's continuity remains intact because the central community of hunters shares a deep bond and mutual respect, both for each other and for the fragile swamp ecosystem they navigate together. In short, if you're scrolling through clickbait headlines proclaiming that a beloved swamp people star left us too soon, or is behind bars now, you're chasing a ghost story. The series has delivered more than a dozen seasons of high-stakes gator hunts without losing a single main cast member to death or incarceration. It's proof that, even in a world as unpredictable as the Louisiana Bayou, careful production standards, community ties, and strict legal oversight can keep reality television drama on camera and out of courthouses and morgues. On closer inspection, a few peripheral figures connected to swamp people have indeed faced brushes with the law, but none have crossed the threshold into jail time. In late 2014, a freelance guide who appeared in 3 episodes alongside Bobby Herring was cited for operating without the proper fishing and trapping permits after authorities received a tip about unlicensed gear. The man paid a fine and attended a mandatory regulatory workshop, but no jail sentence followed. A viral post from an out-of-state news site conflated his surname with that of a main cast Landry family member, sparking unfounded rumors that a Landry had been arrested. In reality, the 2 surnames merely shared Cajun roots. Similarly, a background boater who ferried Justin Martin and Jacob Landry between Cypress Strands in 2016 was briefly detained on suspicion of DUI after a checkpoint stop. Again, the charges were dropped following completion of a diversion program, and the individual was never under the production umbrella as a recurring personality. These isolated incidents exemplify how low-level infractions in rural Louisiana, where swamp roads can vanish into brush and regulations differ by parish, can be blown out of proportion when zipper-lipped camera crews and social media sleuths collide. Production protocols for swamp people are unusually stringent for a reality series filmed in such a remote environment. Before a local hunter can carry a microphone pack or ad-lib a line, a multi-page document is signed covering wildlife statutes, liability releases, and criminal background inquiries. Any participant flagged with a pending felony, open warrant, or unresolved bench trial is disqualified from on-camera work. Producers have confirmed in interviews that they routinely run state and federal databases, not only for major cast members, but even for one-off extras. When a minor participant was found to have an old drug possession arrest on record, editors spliced them out of follow-up episodes, sometimes excising entire segments to maintain legal compliance. Crew members occasionally scramble with rewrites when a late-stage background check reveals new information. These last-minute edits ensure that viewers never see a boatman or guide with a disqualifying legal history. Beyond legal scrubbing, the show's safety measures are a primary reason no hunter has ever been lost to a fatal incident on camera. Trailers of near-misses surface now and then. The time a gator flipped a small John boat, forcing rookie hunter to cling to a strainer route until rescuers arrived, or when a rope snapped and a seasoned wrangler plunged headfirst into chest-high water. In each case, a dedicated medevac team was on standby, coordinated via satellite phone with Louisiana State Police. Producers build in mandatory daily safety briefings, and medical personnel ride along on the largest hunts. The off-camera emphasis on risk mitigation contrasts sharply with the on-screen bravado, which often highlights daring traverses through submerged tree lines or the snap of a gator's tail. Keeping strict controls behind the scenes. Beam lights overhead, spotters in the water, waterproof trackers on boats. The show prevents life or death conflicts from becoming irreversible, and certainly from landing anyone in critical condition. What sets Swamp People apart from many other reality franchises is how little criminal drama features in its narrative arc. Compare that to shows centered on nightlife or fringe subcultures, where arrests are practically plot points. Think of nightclub brawls on Drinking Made Easy, drug busts on Intervention, or bar fights on Jersey Shore. Swamp People's focus remains squarely on traditional livelihoods, wildlife management, and family legacies. Even the occasional wellness check or wildlife violation is treated as a procedural blip, a reminder of state regulations rather than evidence of scandalous behavior. This deliberate editorial stance preserves the integrity of the cast's hunting heritage and undercuts the rumor mill. Fans learn early on that a lawsuit over gator tags or a fishing permit issue is as sensational as it gets. For viewers determined to separate fact from fiction, a straightforward way to verify any claim is to cross Reference the names listed in the show's end credits on IMDb or the History Channel's official site against publicly accessible court dockets. Parish clerks in Louisiana maintain online indexes for misdemeanors and felonies, searchable by name and date. No leading cast member, Troy, Jacob, Justin, Bobby, or other featured hunters, returns a criminal history in these databases. Additionally, Swamp People producers have occasionally placed disclaimers in epilogues, noting no fatalities and no legal incidents among the core cast to preempt speculation. When a minor participant's arrest was erroneously linked to the series, the network issued an on-air clarification, emphasizing that the individual was neither a contracted star nor a recurring presence. In the end, the phenomenon of associating Swamp People cast members with death or incarceration seems to stem less from real events and more from the storytelling conventions of reality television blending with the chaotic ecosystem of online gossip. The murky backwaters of social media can transform a permit infraction into a murder rumor or inflate a fine into a felony conviction. By maintaining rigorous vetting procedures, transparent production practices, and prompt corrections when misidentifications occur, the show's creators have managed to keep its gritty on-camera drama safely fictional when it comes to personal legal jeopardy or mortal peril. While the question of on-camera death or imprisonment among Swamp People's luminaries can be answered definitively, examining the near-miss events and personal trials endured by the cast reveals a deeper story of perseverance and the show's commitment to safety. In 2012, during a high-stakes gator run, veteran hunter Brandon Big Dog Landry was thrown from his John boat when a giant male alligator lunged unexpectedly. The force capsized the lightweight vessel, sending both Landry and his guide into thigh-deep, debris-laden water. According to the production's internal incident report, both emerged with bruises and hypothermia, but no broken bones. That day could have easily ended in tragedy had the medevac crew not reached the site within minutes. Social media fans misinterpreted mid-season footage, avoiding the medical evac crawl, into claims that Landry had been gravely injured or even killed, but the hunter returned just 2 episodes later, his voice and swagger intact. Similarly, camera operator Michael Brooks suffered a severe spinal strain in 2015 when his rig snagged a submerged cypress root during a nighttime shoot. Rumors that Brooks had gone into a coma began circulating on a fan forum after someone misread a cryptic tweet about hospital time. In reality, Brooks spent 3 days in a local rehabilitation clinic to regain spinal mobility before rejoining the crew. History Channel's production team later issued a brief statement confirming that the operator was resting comfortably and would be back on the swamp as soon as possible. Off-camera legal entanglements have also triggered misleading headlines. In 2017, a group of secondary guides assisting Bobby Herring and his team was temporarily detained during a permit inspection that escalated into a standoff over jurisdictional boundaries with wildlife enforcement officers. Viewers who tuned into local news segments saw familiar faces facing charges of illegal trapping. The network publicly clarified that the men in question were independent contractors whose services were not officially contracted by the show at the time. Charges were dropped after the guides obtained proper permits and sovereignty review, long before any court date. But the initial story headline, Swamp People Hunters in Jail, took on a life of its own online. Medical emergencies unrelated to hunting have occasionally been misreported as features gone awry. In 2018, Justin Martin missed 2 episodes after being admitted to the hospital for a routine kidney stone procedure. A headline from an unverified blog breathlessly proclaimed, Justin Martin faces life-threatening attack in Bayou, implying an animal assault or foul play. The false narrative was so convincing that friends and family found themselves fielding concerned calls from viewers as far afield as Europe. Only Martin's social media post, captioned, "Small stone, big relief. Put the record straight." The capacity for rumor outpaces reality because Swamp People thrives on an immersive style that blurs the line between staged narrative and genuine experience. Producers use clever editing to heighten suspense jump cuts, tense background scores, and cliffhanger endings that suggest unresolved danger. All of this is part of the show's DNA. Yet the safety and legal apparatus operating behind the scenes work tirelessly to keep drama in front of the camera and ensure that any incident, medical, legal, or otherwise, doesn't spiral into the realms of fatality or incarceration. cast members themselves have adopted a culture of transparency to quell the scuttlebutt. At annual rap parties and fan conventions, Troy Landry and his cohorts host Ask Us Anything panels where they address questions about on-set safety, legal requirements, and their own health. These sessions, often live-streamed, allow fans to see proof of insurance documents, emergency protocols, and screening processes. When pressed on whether he feared for his life on the swamp, Troy will typically smile and say, "Out here, you respect the water and the gators, but you've also got a team that's got your back. On land, on water, and in the courthouse if need be." Even the franchise's most dramatic survival stories have clear endpoints that underscore the show's robust support structure. When Jacob Landry fell ill during a 2019 shoot with a severe case of cellulitis on his leg, production medics quarantined him until intravenous antibiotics stabilized his condition. The crew's medtech, who holds paramedic certification, reported that Landry's immediate evacuation prevented any risk of life-threatening sepsis. Newsable Swamp People star hospitalized circulated briefly until Jacob's next Instagram post, complete with a cast on his leg and a grin, updated fans on his recovery. In recent years, the series has woven educational segments about safety directly into episodes. Viewers now witness quick training snippets on boat maintenance, rope handling, and first aid basics before each gator hunt. In every challenge, Swamp People's cast proves that respect for nature and rigorous protocols keep tragedy at bay. Rumors about Swamp People cast members have often morphed into wild tales of hidden indictments or backstage tragedies, but a closer look at the evidence shows that most sensational claims dissolve under scrutiny. In the age of clickbait headlines and rapid-fire social sharing, a single unverified post can spark thousands of shares and retweets before anyone bothers to check a public record. Fans scrolling through timeline feeds might encounter a post alleging that Troy Landry's cousin just got arrested for gator bait smuggling, or that Justin Martin died in a bloody Bayo incident. Yet when one tracks down the original source, if it exists at all, there is nothing but hearsay and a handful of user comments. Search results for any serious criminal charge or obituary tied to the names of core cast members return no credible links, court filings, or independent news coverage. Instead, one finds repeat disclaimers from the History Channel reminding viewers that no main participant has ever been involved in prosecutable wrongdoing or suffered an on-screen fatality. The scarcity of verifiable incidents has prompted some producers and cast members to consider legal remedies when rumors threaten to spill into defamation territory. On 2 occasions, background participants wrongly identified as regular hunters considered cease and desist notices against gossip sites. Though they never advanced to formal lawsuits, the mere prospect hinted at how easily a mistaken arrest report can tarnish reputations. Cast members themselves are well aware that a strong digital presence helps them combat misinformation. After a fake report circulated in 2018 claiming that Jacob Landry had been jailed for poaching, Jacob posted a live stream from his family's dock addressing fans directly. "I'm here healthy and still loving every minute of the hunt," he said, joking about swapping his harpoon for a gavel if he were ever summoned to court. That video clip, posted on his official social accounts, quickly outperformed the original rumor in terms of engagement, essentially burying the false narrative underneath thousands of likes and genuine comments. Swamp People's production team has also become savvy at inserting protective measures into contracts and press kits. Media liaisons regularly circulate official cast bios that list legal clearances, union affiliations, and disclaimers about participants' involvement. When a local news outlet once ran a story about an alligator wrangler arrested for illegal hunting, show attorneys promptly supplied the paper with cast rosters and timestamps proving the detained individual had never set foot on a History Channel set. Within 48 hours, corrections were issued and the record was set straight. Those swift actions preserve the show's reputation and reassure both viewers and sponsors that the flagship cast operates with integrity. Despite the fierce protection around the main lineup, several recurring themes have contributed to occasional confusion. First, many Swamp guides share Cajun or Creole surnames that overlap with those of series regulars, leading to misidentification in local police bulletins. Second, one-off hires or extras may appear in multiple episodes without being formally introduced, prompting viewers to assume they are part of the core ensemble. Third, Louisiana's parish court records are notoriously decentralized. A fan searching for public filings might find a warrant issued in one county and jump to the conclusion it applies statewide. These structural quirks turn minor permit violations into sensational headlines, especially when unscrupulous websites repurpose public data without context. On the medical front, the cast has experienced serious scrapes with injury, but none have resulted in long-term hospital stays or tragic outcomes. In 2020, Bobby Herring sustained a deep gash to his calf when a gator's tail whipped around during extraction. Fans watched the replays in horror, fearing the worst. The production's embedded medic team responded immediately, cleaning and stitching the wound on site. Herring was back on camera the next day, sporting a fresh bandage and delivering his trademark grin. That incident alone generated more search traffic for Swamp People Hospital than any rumor about jail time, underscoring that real danger on the swamp comes from unpredictable wildlife rather than legal entanglements. Fan conventions provide another stage for clarifying misconceptions. At the annual Louisiana Bayou Fest, cast panels routinely include a segment titled Myth-Busting the Bayou, where Troy Landry, Jacob Justin, and others take live questions. Audience members have asked whether any hunter has ever been jailed or whether a cast member died during filming. With a laugh, Troy will hold up his hands and say, "If I died out there, I wouldn't be here signing T-shirts." The crowd roars, not just at the humor, but at the relief of hearing the truth directly from the source. Those interactions reinforce viewer trust and remind everyone that reality TV drama doesn't always reflect actual misfortune. As social platforms evolve and algorithms push ever more sensational content, the challenge of combating false narratives grows. Yet Swamp People's producers, cast, and legal team remain vigilant. They monitor trending hashtags, flag dubious posts, and lean on fan communities to report misinformation. By maintaining transparency, issuing quick corrections, letting hunters address rumors firsthand, and providing direct access to cast updates, the show has managed to sidestep the kind of criminal controversies that swamp many other reality franchises. The result is a series that continues to deliver high-stakes Bayou adventures without the tragic footnotes of death or incarceration among its central figures. As the series presses on, one question remains at the forefront of devoted viewers' minds. How has Swamp People managed to cultivate such a sterling record among its core cast, free from the specters of death or incarceration that often haunt reality franchises? The answer lies in a combination of rigorous production standards, tight-knit community relationships, and an unwavering respect for both human and environmental safety. Over 15 years and more than 200 episodes, producers have demonstrated that anticipation and risk can coexist with comprehensive precaution. Each hunt is meticulously planned, with permits, safety protocols, legal clearances filed weeks in advance. Hunters carry emergency locator beacons, medical crews ride alongside every vessel, and local authorities coordinate to guarantee immediate response if anything goes awry. The swamp's unpredictable nature is the star of the show, but it's the precision of behind-the-scenes operations that keep the focus squarely on gator wrangling, rather than courtroom dramas or tragic farewells. Equally important is the familial ethos that binds recurring cast members. The Landrys, Herring, Martins, and Duprees share not only bloodlines and Cajun heritage, but also a collective commitment to preserving swamp traditions for future generations. Elder hunters mentor newcomers in sustainable trapping practices, habitat conservation, and wildlife law. This communal approach extends into legal acumen. Seasoned boat captains educate younger guides on navigating parish regulations, emphasizing that a permit oversight can be as serious as a misjudged jump into dark water. By embedding legal knowledge into the cultural fabric of the swamp community, participants are empowered to avoid infractions before they happen, eliminating the specter of arrests and prosecutions long before cameras roll. The show's editors also play a vital role in shaping the public narrative. Through careful curation, they highlight triumphs over obstacles, like a botched net deployment or a surprise flood surge, while minimizing the airtime given to procedural delays or administrative setbacks. When a briefing on new fishing regulations interrupts a gator pursuit, the sequence is edited to feel like part of the hunt rather than a bureaucratic detour. This seamless integration keeps audiences riveted on the adventure, not on license checks or permit handovers. When minor legal issues do arise, such as a repetitive equipment registration oversight, They are resolved off-camera. Footnotes noted only in production logs. The effect is a series that feels raw and immediate, yet is underpinned by a level of professionalism most viewers never see. In recent seasons, the network has doubled down on transparency, inviting fans to explore the mechanics of safe hunting through digital extras and web featurettes. Short clips titled "Legal Briefs from the Bayou" showcase interviews with wildlife officers who discuss the balance between traditional trapping methods and modern conservation laws. Another miniseries, Rescue and Response, follows the medevac team through simulated emergencies, demonstrating how every second counts when a rookie hunter gets tossed from a boat or a gator's thrashing tail severs a rope. These educational segments underscore that while danger is ever present, it is never uncontrolled, and that preparedness, not glorified chaos, defines the franchise's ethos. Still, the occasional rumor resurfaces, testifying to the enduring power of the swamp's mystique. A fan site might repost an old arrest bulletin that names a C. Landry in a footnote about unauthorized oyster harvesting, prompting anxious commentary under the assumption that it refers to Jacob or Troy. In these moments, the show's producers act swiftly, posting clarifications on social channels and directing inquiries to official cast rosters. Frequent day in the life live streams from hunters' homes have also become a strategic tool, offering candid glimpses of daily routines, gear maintenance, family dinners, and wildlife workshops that reaffirm the cast's stability and legal standing. By embracing real-time communication, Swamp People transforms potential scandals into opportunities for community engagement and myth-busting. Perhaps most telling is the way cast members themselves address fan concerns. During Q&A sessions at regional expos, hunters speak openly about the incidents that did occur. The overturned John boat, the lost radio signal, the brief permit kerfuffle, while underscoring that every legal wrinkle was ironed out far from the public eye. Their candor resonates because it stems from lived experience. They've felt the adrenaline of a 500-pound gator lunging at them, and they've navigated the red tape that governs Bayou territory. When viewers realize that these experts treat state statutes with as much seriousness as they treat wildlife safety, the rumors of jail cells and morgues lose their allure, exposed as nothing more than digital campfire tales. In the broader context of reality television, Swamp People stands out as a model for responsible storytelling. It captures the raw beauty and inherent risk of a unique environment while preserving the dignity and well-being of everyone involved. The absence of fatal accidents and criminal convictions among the main cast is not a fluke, but the result of decades-long collaboration among producers, legal teams, medical experts, and the swamp community itself. Viewers witness every muddy yoke and every mighty paddle stroke, but they rarely glimpse the exhaustive preparation that makes each broadcast possible. As the franchise charts its course into new territory, expanding into eco-tourism specials, conservation partnerships, and educational outreach, its core principle remains constant. Adventure is most compelling when anchored in responsibility. Reality TV need not exploit its participants or sensationalize misfortune. Swamp People proves that authenticity, skill, and respect for both human and natural law can create drama more riveting than any courtroom showdown or tragic headline. More than a decade into its storied run, Swamp People has become more than a television show. It is a cultural touchstone for risk, reward, and resilience. Fans know that the thunder of a gator's tail or the flash of a blade against alligator armor are real, but the scariest scenarios, death or incarceration, have never claimed a leading hunter. Instead, speculation around rumors of legal transgressions or fatal mishaps often tells us more about audience appetites for sensationalism than about the actual experiences of the Landrys, the Herrings, and the Martins. In online forums, devoted viewers mobilize to correct erroneous gossip, citing episode credits or official social media posts to vouch for each cast member's continued well-being and clean legal record. The show's community of ardent followers serves as an informal fact-checking network, pushing back against clickbait narratives and celebrating the genuine accomplishments of their swamp heroes. Today, the core cast has embraced a proactive stance against misinformation. Troy and Jacob Landry share regular livestream updates, fielding questions about upcoming hunts, safety protocols, and conservation efforts. Bobby Herring and Justin Martin collaborate on a quarterly digital magazine detailing swamp lore, state regulations, and behind-the-scenes stories that never make it to air, Publisher partnerships allow exclusive branded content while supporting family-run ecosystem projects across local parishes, further cementing community ties. These multi-platform efforts underscore a willingness to engage directly with fans in a transparent dialogue, blunting the impact of any rogue rumor that might wrongfully suggest a cast member has died or been jailed. By reclaiming their own narrative, the Hunters transform passive viewership into active participation, reinforcing trust and deepening the bonds that unite the swamp community. Off-camera, Swamp People has seeded a legacy that extends into environmental education and wildlife preservation. A partnership with Louisiana universities has launched a certificate program in sustainable trapping and wetland management, using select episodes as case studies. Students examine real-life scenarios, from navigation hazards to joint jurisdictional patrols and emergency response coordination, learning how carefully orchestrated hunts ensure habitat conservation and public safety. Cast members frequently visit classrooms, delivering guest lectures and hands-on demonstrations that bring academic theory to life. Charitable initiatives led by the cast have also funded over 50 mangrove restoration projects, underscoring the heartfelt commitment behind every televised hunt. These initiatives make it clear that gator trapping is not mere spectacle, but a vital form of ecological stewardship, requiring both respect for natural cycles and strict adherence to legal frameworks that keep hunters from infringing on protected species or waterways. Meanwhile, emerging spin-offs stretch the franchise's reach into new domains while maintaining its trademark emphasis on safety and legality. Swamp People, the next generation, follows younger relatives of the original cast as they navigate their first seasons under the tutelage of the veterans. Another series, Bayou Guardians, spotlights patrol officers and wildlife enforcement agents who work behind the scenes to uphold trapping regulations and respond to wildlife emergencies. A podcast titled Swamp Signals unravels each behind-the-scenes incident, dissecting the facts to demystify wild rumors. Viewers can now apply for scholarships that underwrite field studies and student-led research camps on the Bayou, an investment in tomorrow's guardians of this fragile environment. Hosted by a rotating panel of cast members and legal experts, the show demarcates the thin line between adventurous drama and off-limits behavior, steering the conversation toward informed appreciation rather than lurid speculation. Technological innovations have further fortified the show's ability to preempt real dangers without compromising authenticity. Remote drone scouting feeds real-time imagery to boats, reducing blind spots where hunters might face surprise charges from gators or policy violations from misplaced traps. AI-powered environmental sensors monitor water quality, ensuring no prohibited nets disrupt fragile ecosystems. GPS-enabled lanyards alert medevac teams instantly if a hunter drifts off schedule or enters restricted territory. These ventures are supported by network partnerships with drone manufacturers and wildlife technology firms that sponsor equipment and training simulations for both crew and cast. Each technical advance weaves seamlessly into the narrative, inviting viewers to marvel not only at human skill, but also at the logistical choreography that preserves life and lawfulness amid treacherous terrain. As Swamp People prepares to mark its 20th season, the franchise stands as a blueprint for responsible reality television in hazardous environments. It proves that audiences crave more than just adrenaline. They respect participants who demonstrate expertise, honor local communities, and abide by rules designed to protect both people and wildlife. When stories circulate about alleged cast arrests or on-set tragedies, those tales crumble under the weight of documented safety measures, legal vetting, and the cast's own willingness to share key details. The rise of unpredictable weather patterns, hurricanes, flooding, and drought poses new challenges that the cast prepares for through joint drills with emergency responders. This ongoing evolution illustrates how risk management will shape the swamp narratives of tomorrow. In the swamps of Louisiana, danger lurks beneath still waters, but it is never allowed to spill over into the courts or the coroner's office. Instead, Swamp People illustrates how careful planning and genuine community ties can keep the focus on majestic reptiles, storied family traditions, and the unbreakable bond between hunter and habitat.